And we are live.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone. It's ASMR man. It's ASM Manuel. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. I uploaded a panel read through I did, and JD was saying I sounded half asleep, but I went to go listen to it, and I'm like, I don't sound half asleep. I sound like I'm trying to tell everyone a secret. Like, hey guys, this is Manuel.
Secret.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Let's get started. It's Ultra Podcast Z episode 235. We have some topics today of various kinds, and I'm Manuel, as always. Internet's favorite cryptid, let's see. I almost said local media conglomerate. What does that even mean? Why would I call myself that? Anyway, that's it. I'll move on. Josh, introduce yourself.
Hi there. I am Josh from Fotaku Network, and I am doing all the things, but mainly taking pictures and then posting them while cosplaying.
I have a little salsa bowl that I used for marinara sauce earlier because I made some chicken tendies, and I'm like, nice. I cleaned it, but now I just have a random salsa bowl just on my table.
Oh,
what?
I was wondering why the link got messed out because I set up a protection for links.
Oh, yeah. Twitch also logged me out. I'm like, that was probably JD's doing. He hates us.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm happy to be a frequent co-host. Yay.
Yay. What is this? Fotaku's great friend, frequent. Oh, I thought you missed. I thought you spelled. See, what you should have done is spell frequent with a P and an H. Like, freaking. It's funny. Did you know what freaking is?
The art of freaking.
Yes, actually, it's funny you say that. So, like, apparently, it means a lot of different things. Because, like, back in the day when touch tone phones can actually be used to do stuff through computers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can control certain things by using a touch tone phone, or more accurately, the tones that a phone would make. What that matters was when I was a kid, I remember we used to have a mall directory. Like you would that would have you would click on the thingies to show you where the stores were. Very simple touchscreen, but also the phone. If you pick the phone up, it would call the information desk. That's all it did. But me and my friends learned, and I don't know who the fuck showed us this. The movie Hacker shows it, but I don't think we learned it from there. This is before that even. We learned that if you took the phone off and then tapped it, the number you wanted, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually saying the real number. I better stop. So anyway, that you could dial a real number like that, and we used to do that all the time, which I found out later is actually very illegal.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about how they use the slide whistles to mimic the sounds.
No, that's freaking though. By the way,
yes.
What I described, and I think what you described too, is also freaking. There's a lot. Apparently, you could record the tones. When the phone, I don't know if anyone ever used a payphone in their life, but when you use a payphone, usually when you're done paying, you hear the phone make these tones that tells the computer on the other end that you paid. And if you're able to record that sound through some means and play that sound back, you could just never pay for a phone call.
Really?
Yes, and things like that. There's a lot of little that's freaking, but it's also, like I said, it's very, very illegal. I didn't realize at the time. It's not just oh, you're stealing. It's like a federal crime. It's like the equivalent of hacking. Shit like that. Well, it's not the equivalent. It was hacking. So yeah. Wait, should I have admitted to that? Because I have a feeling that might not be
I think so long as what's it called? We don't specify.
He did it in Minecraft
because it's so long ago.
Yeah, I did it in Minecraft.
It's already past the statute of limitations.
I would hope so, but I know federal crimes are a little different. The FBI is not going to come after me something I did when I was 10, right? But then again, that is literally the plot of the movie Hackers. So let's move on. Yeah, I love Hackers. Everyone should go watch that movie. It was mad ahead of its time because it's the movie about hackers, but it came out in 1996 or 7, and that's wild to me because I barely knew what the internet was, and could people actually hack? It was one of those
1995,
movies
Manuel.
like 1995 was the internet even a thing, and I mean that
Yes.
for real. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go too deep in the weeds here, but like obviously the argument can be made like, oh, the internet's been around since like so and so hooked up their computer to a phone line to so and so in Texas or whatever. But I mean, did the internet actually exist as we know it? Like that sounds a little too early. Like, was GeoCities there? what what would the internet be in '95? How do you even find anything? There was no Google. There was no.
The internet was more of just an extra thing that was there. Everyone still led their analog lives pretty decently, just only minimal political failures at the time,
Manuel,
Yes.
according to Wikipedia, GeoCities launched in November 1994.
Are you serious? Okay, so it was probably around during the production of Hackers.
Yay.
I love Hackers. It's a great movie. I tried to watch it at ALA one time when we were drunk, and Josh, not this Josh, Molly's boyfriend Josh made us change the movie, and I'm still upset by that to this day.
Why
As
would he make
evidence,
you change the movie?
I think he did. He was okay. First of all, he made the mistake of actually watching it, which I think is a great movie, by the way. But like, we don't put those movies on technically to watch. We put the movies on to like.
We were watching the Christmas night one
Oh,
at
yeah,
San Diego though, and I don't recall anybody just being like, "Turn that shit off." I mean, it was clearly a
You just
terrible
put it on.
Hallmark Christmas movie,
Oh, yeah.
but still.
It's not okay. It's a terrible Hallmark Christmas movie, but it stars Vanessa Hudgens from My Chemical Romance, from High School Musical. I said High School Romance.
Oh, I love it
But
when
yeah,
she
so,
sings
anyway.
"Welcome to the Black Parade."
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Vanessa Hudgens song, guys. No, she made like a small career doing like Netflix Christmas movies. She was in the other one, The Princess Switch. I'm making that title up, but she was in another one. She like played like a double of herself, and like the double fell in love with her best friend, and she fell in love with the prince. It's one of those movies. And the night one, she just fell in love with the knight. That was. I love cheesy Christmas movies, but let's move on.
Wait, you
I
really?
was trying-
Let's move on this early. We're not gonna like let the tangent overconsume the stream. We're barely like less than 11 minutes in. Oh my goodness.
Manuel,
I like-
there's an
Manuel,
imposter here.
to keep to the direct of keeping this tangent going. Yes, she was in The Princess Switch as Stacy DeNovo and Lady Margaret.
See, okay, I was right about that. I think the Princess Switch has 2 movies, and she was
Yes.
in that one.
Oh, 3.
Oh, it's 3. Yeah, so she has a little Netflix Christmas empire. I love Netflix Christmas movies. Another good one to watch, and one of my favorites is the one JD knows. 'Cause I was watching it, I think when you came in. The one with Jennifer, with Lindsay Lohan.
Falling for Christmas.
There you go.
The one
was
that's just
like-
Christmas Overboard.
Yes. I love that movie. And I literally put that on all the time on Warren's Netflix. Thank you for letting me log in. I put that on all the time in the background. Like in my life, not just at cons. I just like put it on. I could tell time by it because I like know how long the movie is and where I'm at certain parts. I'm like, oh shit, the movie's halfway done. I need to hurry up, whatever I'm doing, kind of thing. But yeah. I asked him a bunch of times to play it at WonderCon. He wanted to play Hackers. Yeah, oops. He did ask a bunch of times to play.
Okay. Actual
Left
topics
us
for today.
thinking.
Oh, Hackers. So, anyways, Hackers is a movie that stars Matthew Lillard, and actually, I don't know if he stars in
No,
it.
he's more supporting
in-
role in that. He's in it as serial killer. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and not Angelina Jolie. Who the fuck is it? The Tomb Raider person.
No, Angelina Jolie.
Oh, that is her. Okay. I
Johnny
don't know
Lee Miller.
actresses. Is he famous? I don't know what the hell he was ever in after Hackers. I think he's in a horror movie, but it's them. Who cares? I think
Train Spotting.
one of the kids.
Dracula
who
2000.
play-
That's a horror movie, right?
I think that's the one I seen him in actually, because I remember seeing him in a random horror movie I saw around the time-ish, like when I was still young. And I know that the kid who plays I don't know if he's meant to be like Puerto Rican or like the Hispanic a hacker kid. He's apparently some like pop star in like wherever his home country is or whatever. Well, Puerto Rico. If he's Puerto Rican, that's not his home country, but you know what I mean.
Yes. His name is Renely Santiago.
Yes, is it? Was I right? Is he like a pop star or some shit?
Puerto Rican actor, singer, and writer.
Exactly. He's a singer. Yeah, I remember a friend of mine when I was at some point in my life when I was talking about I love the movie. He's like, oh my god, I'm a fan of what's his face. It's like, I'm like, huh? Like he does music. Anyway, speaking of someone who does music, have you ever heard of a certain indie artist by the name of Hatsune Miku?
Oh yes, I remember the days when she was still indie.
Actually, that's funny I say that because I remember those days too. Do you remember I remember when the Miku craze was first really starting, like around 2009, 2010. I don't know. Well, it was starting in the West. I don't know when the hell Miku actually like dropped onto the scene. Um,
It
but
was
I'll
definitely
never
2011 in Los
in
Angeles.
AX, yeah. But I remember like some of the fans were talking because I remember seeing cosplayers in like 2010, 2009 or so, and there was a friend of mine who was really into Vocaloid stuff, and they were really upset with the way like Miku was being marketed. Uh, because for those who don't know, and I feel like a lot of people still don't know this, um, Miku obviously is like somebody voices Miku. It's like wasn't voice, but there's a human who did the vocal samples at some point. But Miku, as we know it, is just like a music tool, like an instrument, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, and she doesn't have like albums. She doesn't have like what I guess technically, I'm sure that I'm sure Hatsune Miku has released some albums, but it's not like you could just look up her discography. It's like you'll find Hatsune Miku as the vocalist of groups like Supercell and like what the fuck is that one with 30? A bunch of groups have numbers in their name, like that 39 one and like so on. But like she doesn't, she's not her own thing. Um, and I remember like when I was when I used to go to a lot when Miku concerts were happening. There were some cheap ones. It's funny I say this because it sounds like what I'm describing. There was some we're going to just talk about in a minute. There were some cheap ones that happened at PMX, like in 2012 or 2013, around that time, that only had a screen. Like somebody set up a TV and just like had them, move it across it, and then there'd be like real dancers, like human dancers on the side of it too. And it was the cheapest thing I'd ever seen. And also because it was licensed and not like Krypton, like Miku's like parent company, it was like, how do I say this? They had to rig the whole thing themselves and motion capture the whole thing themselves and even record some of the songs. And they didn't have all the hits. Like we didn't hear like "World Is Mine" or like
No, I
um,
get you. It's yeah.
and like Miku does have a lot of underground shit too, but that's a story for the day. But yeah, there's a whole thing about like the recent Miku concerts. Josh, have you seen
Yeah.
Miku live before?
No, I haven't seen her live
Oh, you
before.
haven't?
Well, no, not really. I was going to in 2011, but then like the press stuff got filled up, so I wasn't able to go into the US debut. And then there had been other events that had gone along, but I kind of felt like, oh, I'll just go to like a con or something. And then I just kind of like never went to Miku Expo. So,
Hold the fuck
but
up. You were doing press at AX in 2011?
yeah, I was. There was like this
What
place
the
called
fuck? That's wild. Like A to J and Manuel Express was still like far off in the future. It was not even on my radar. But anyways, go on.
Yeah, no, it was through somebody that like I guess they were like a talent agency and they were just briefly trying to open up in Bakersfield. It didn't really like lead to anything, but apparently they had like a separate magazine that would like go to Comic Con and shit like that. So I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he said, "Yeah, no, we can get you a press badge for that year." And it was like, "Oh, dang, that's really dope." But since then, they haven't really been working on that particular what's it called article or so
Uh,
or publication or whatever. But yeah, no, I only heard till afterwards because I had a lot of people, friends who went to the concert and they let me know about like, oh, here's how it went down. At the time, I just thought it sounded really interesting, especially because it was particularly a screen that projected a crap ton of colors to give
mhm.
the illusion of Miku being there. And I was like, oh, that sounds really dope. In
It-
2011.
it's wild because like I've never told anyone this because I was kind of embarrassed that I was this naive and stupid back then. But like, when I heard, I knew nothing about Miku, right? I'd seen people cosplay her,
Hmm.
and I knew that it was like this virtual idol type experience, which by the way, which is what a lot of people with that one friend of mine hated the way it was marketed. I didn't finish that thought, but basically he was like, Miku is just a drawing that's meant to sell an instrument. Like she shouldn't be marketed as the performer, and that was his big complaint. Like she's basically a keyboard. She's a program on a synth. She shouldn't be like marketed as the headliner performer or whatever. He was upset by that. Anyways, and to be fair, I
He
think a
was
lot of
upset by that. He's upset by that. And yet
yes.
Nickelodeon thought that they could turn California ass Jeanette McCurdy into a mother effing out of Nashville for some reason
Oh
country
God.
star in between writer strikes of iCarly. And
What?
he's upset that Miku is mass produced. And sorry, I don't mean to cause an
It's
earthquake effect.
marketed.
The table's like really delicate, so I'll try to keep my like hype like a little less. But no, you can't just be like she's not performer. She's just an instrument. Okay.
Yes. That's like these were like pretty much his direct quotes, and it's my understanding there's still a big subset of the fandom that's like this, by the way. Um, like there are fans who are strictly Vocaloid fans, not Miku fans. Or I know there's several other, main Vocaloids anyway, but you know what I mean. They're not fans of the characters, they're fans of the software, maybe the music. But anyway, I went to like I didn't know anything about Miku in 2011. I just knew that like people cosplayed her. I knew had a vague idea what she looked like. Um Shit like that. I knew she was, like I said, I knew she was a virtual idol. And the only thing I had known about before a virtual idol was like if you ever seen Macross Plus, um, they have a virtual idol there called Sharon Apple, and she like it's also a hologram, but that hologram like flies in the air and does shit. So TLDR, in case you already know where I'm going with this, when I went to the concert, I was so disappointed that she just was on stage. It was just like a person. I thought she was gonna do weird shit, like fly into the audience or something.
You mean like why don't they go extra with this? Like
Yes, and they don't.
if
As
it's
far as
like
I know, they
she's
never have. By the way,
wait, really?
I
They've
mean
never
the
really.
I've seen some DVDs where they like post production wise put Miku like flying onto the stage or whatever, but I think the technology just doesn't exist, or more accurately, no one's gonna pay for that for a concert. You know?
Hey, if we were able to get Brendan Urie to play his piano as it gets raised to the ceiling and then is just like from the ceiling sent back to the main stage. I'm like, I mean, those
That sounds
tickets weren't even
dangerous.
that ridiculous. I mean, if we were able to put Brendan Urie like literally above the entire crowd and then drop his piano onto the stage, like I don't think that that's beyond the realm of whatever you could do with Miku.
But yeah, the Miku concert was fine. It was 3D. All you people trying to like, retroactively say that she's never had a holograph performance, like it was. I'm not sure what the technology is. Somebody's gonna say I'm wrong, but I remember because I sat really close to the front, so it looked as if there were like all these projectors that are
Mhm.
projecting like onto a see-through screen. Because I
Yeah,
remember when you sit close enough, it's almost like you can see multiples of her if you're
yeah.
sitting at the wrong angle. Kind of like if you had a 3DS, you turn the 3D on, you don't look at it
Oh,
right.
that. Yeah.
It looked kind of like that. It was fine because you could still tell what the main one was supposed to be, but it looked like I was telling you, I was telling JD before we went live. It looked like she was dancing in front of a mirror most of the time, from where I was sitting, because you would see her moving like the 3D part, and then you would see at the background like there was a mirror, and it was also confusing because even though it was a mirror, you could still see through it. Like her drummer was behind her, um, or it wasn't behind her, but from the angle I was looking at, you could see where the drum riser was.
Yeah.
But even then, I remember like me and my then girlfriend were like, this is cool, and I'm a fan of live music and everything like that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'm gonna piss off a lot of Miku fans by saying this, but like, it felt like I mean, piss off a lot of people by saying this. It felt like when you go to a DJ show, and you're kind of sitting there after a few minutes, after the vibe, after the live music kick kind of wears off, and you're
Yeah.
all like, what am I actually listening to here?
Yeah, that every DJ is just gonna be so triggered by what you just said. Okay, I'm so glad you bring that up. Just like when I went to Evo and it would have been like, yeah, it's whatever, just DJs. They probably could have gotten some bigger like announcement. Ooh,
I
hey, I think Fujoshi is here. I forget which year I went, but I've been to Miku Expo before. It's cool with the big glass screen. Okay,
yeah,
that's different.
I've seen a couple Miku. I went to Miku Expo in 2015. The year it was, I don't even know that place still exists when they had the event that was like had that big dome. And it's funny because that dome was like a movie thing, and they kind of did have the Miku thing like I was describing, where it's like, oh look, Miku's above me. It's all I ever wanted in my life, apparently. But like, I mean, that wasn't part of the
Apparently,
concert. That was like a movie. But yeah.
apparently, I was just sad Kaito only got one song.
Oh yeah. I don't remember like. I don't remember if there was other Vocaloids at the AX concert. I haven't like I'm gonna assume that were, but in my
I
memory,
kind of, I
all I
don't
remember was
know.
there being Miku.
I think that was it. I mean, like at the time, she looked pretty jank on those Toyota commercials that were going so hard to promote
I
her.
forgot about those.
If you drive a 2011 Toyota Corolla, you have a Miku car.
I remember
And
back then,
yeah,
a lot of people were like being I don't want to say being disingenuous because like you do have Miku on your song, but because Miku was like a relatively cheap software, I bought Vocaloid whatever number Vocaloid 2 whatever number that was at
mhm.
AX. Like I bought the software for my computer and the license, and I think it's one of those weird licenses where if you produce something commercially and don't make that much money, you can still produce it, and then
Mhm.
after a certain point, you kind of have to be like, yeah, here's some money, you know. Um, for licensing, but like you could do your own shit. So I remember a lot of artists, they're still artists, but a lot of like local weed performers, and I mean that in a loving way, like local weed performers, weeb. I not saying weed, weeb, and then like
Or weed
people
performers.
people doing like indie games. They'd be like, "Oh, we have a song by Hatsune Miku," and I'm like, "You mean you wrote a song that you put Hatsune Miku's voice onto?"
It's
But
it's still
anyway.
something. It touches people's lives. It brings everyone together under the same umbrella, and it's a at least from everybody who's like a really hardcore Miku fan that I know, they really do enjoy it. It's cute. I have a Sakura Miku like a little figure also. Um yeah, but I do feel that it is tough, and I bring this up only because I think your friend Ivan brought it up. He bought his like Miku Expo tickets and he was excited for the concert, but when he heard that
Oh yeah,
it's just
the screen.
another screen, he's like, I'm gonna see if I can sell my tickets and still get Yasao Bay tickets.
It's funny because yeah, that's what we've been beating around the bush too. Because the current concert's the screen, and I will admit this because there's a lot of people trying to gaslight everyone. Like it's never been a hologram. It's never been a hologram. And I'm like, bitch, I saw a hologram multiple times. I saw it at Miku Expo twice. I saw it. I remember the concert now. It was Lantis World Matsuri was the name of that event. I was trying to say it was in Vegas, like in 2015. I saw her twice there, and then I saw her at AX. And it's funny, all those were in 2015 except for that one AX. But anyway, I've seen Miku live and it was always a hologram, except for like a few jank ones I saw at PMX. I already mentioned briefly. But I have seen like clips of other past Miku expos, like more recent ones, I think last year and then one before the pandemic, that were using screens.
Mhm.
And like, I don't know. Some people have pointed out that the concert they're all pointing to was like one in Canada where like the lighting was just really bright. So you could just see the screen. So it was like you could just see it. They set up a giant TV and went for it. But I'll be real. I'll be real. I will say that for the price tickets cost these days, they shouldn't cheap out because if they were able to afford it for like $20 or whatever the fuck I paid for it back in the day, they can afford it for twice that, you know? But is it really any different?
It looks like the one in Portland was also a screen. They're just bringing what's it called? A screen the whole tour. I think that's the part where there's a lot of people that want that bigger hologram like experience, and
I
that could be
love
why.
Mickey. No, I love Mickey's music, but I just feel like concerts are a little like I mentioned earlier, I don't want to make it sound like I didn't have a good time at the Miku concerts, but it was like
People are paying $200+. Gosh damn!
I
I'm
agree.
sorry. Do
No,
you know?
that's the part I don't agree with. Like, I mean,
Do,
I
do you
agree
know?
with what you're saying, but yeah, go ahead.
Do you know? Okay, $200+. Okay. Also, they're not bringing enough light sticks, which is BS. Because how are you gonna
Oh,
do that whole scene without like the light sticks. But like here's the part where it's just a little like messed up. Okay, just for reference. Okay, freaking Facebook and Instagram. I'll say Meta. Freaking Meta sponsored out of nowhere a Twice concert with so much advertisement. If you want to catch a quick glimpse of Twice, your cheapest nosebleed tickets were 43 goddamn dollars, which meant that it would probably be closer to about 50, 60 bucks after their taxes and fees. But recognize, to watch Twice in Las Vegas, short of anybody who had to actually get a plane ticket, but like short of the plane ticket, and probably people who also might be getting plane tickets for all the other locations in the tour, you could go and see Twice for relatively like almost a quarter. Oh yeah, and the hotels? No. I got one extra for you. Because I was looking this stuff up until I decided that I should not give in to temptation. But there was actually one hotel that was about a 15-minute walk. It wasn't by all the other motels or the hotels like Express, what's it called, Holiday Inn and stuff like that. Like there were actually a lot of those were right next to the stadium where they were holding the Twice concert. However, they were like $200 and craziness. You might as well actually go to the strip and probably lose out a little bit on cash. But there was one motel that was selling room stays for about $120 a night. It was the cheapest. It was 15 minutes away. And yes, it's a motel, but with literally how out of the blue it was, you would still be relatively paying less than the Miku, the current Miku tour. And that's just rough that they don't go above and beyond, because $200+ is like almost a switch.
No, I mean, like, concert tickets are stupid in this day and age. I don't understand like a lot of concert ticket pricing. Like even that Twice concert you mentioned with the nosebleed sections. I've been to concerts. Actually, I've never been to concerts where I've been that high. But I've been to concerts where there are these giant ass venues, and I'll see people up in the nosebleeds. Don't get me wrong, I'm usually not that like.
Okay, Manuel. Just clarification.
Close. What?
High up or high as in on drugs?
High up. But like, well, I'll see people like way at the top of the stadium, way in the off to the side, and I'm like, part of me gets the vibe of being there, but what are you getting at that point?
Well, it depends. I've heard that when it comes to especially any type of K-pop group, there's no such thing as a bad seat. So if you did want to at least watch, and like we do have. Okay, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing why the Miku part doesn't help out. Okay,
there are bad seats for a Miku concert.
Weapon.
There are bad seats for a Miku concert. I will say that.
No, I'm pointing out first, okay, because this is supposed to kind of rub salt in the wound. Okay, if you are in the nosebleeds, chances are you are still looking at a screen. So you're paying the $60 for a screen versus $200 for the one screen.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. Because one of the things my then girlfriend said when we were watching the Miku concert at AX, because don't get me wrong, I had a bit more fun at the other ones because she was kind of a downer. But anyway, I don't want to speak ill of her. But I remember she fell out of love with that concert way faster than I did. Like she kind of wanted to leave, and I think the ticket back then was like $20, and we were just like, kind of, if we weren't sitting in the middle of a row, I probably would have just left because I didn't really want to be there either. But I'll never forget that she did point out, because it was at the it was at the Microsoft Theater, whatever it was back then, Nokia Theater, I think.
It has no other name.
Actually, it's not the Microsoft
other name.
I think it's something else
Microsoft.
now.
No other name exists.
But anyway, with that theater, and it has the screens on the side, and she was saying I might as well watch those because it's the same as watching the middle, and she's bigger there.
I'm pouring one out for Athena Fujoshi, who is saying, imagine paying so much for looking at the side of a screen.
No, because that is a funny thing, because like at least when it's a hologram, there still are bad angles you can get at where it's all like, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? It's like, it's kind of confusing. But like a screen, like I've been on the wrong side of my I know there's different kinds of monitors that have like whatever the word is that you have to be viewing them from a certain angle.
But viewing angle.
Yeah, even like a really good monitor doesn't have that weird kind of like layer thing. I'll look at it from the wrong angle and things look like shit. Or a TV. I mean, I look at it from the wrong angle. It's like, what am I seeing? It's kind of dark. I need to like get towards the middle. And I imagine that can't be too much better. You know, like turn the brightness up, like fix the contrast. Don't unplug Miku.
Don't AirPlug what?
Unplug Miku.
Don't
But like,
unplug me.
I mean, I do agree that like it's bullshit that they're charging so much and then giving everyone like
I didn't know it was
the,
$200.
the bare
That's
bones experience
that's
because
crazy
no,
though.
that concert I told you, like, and I can't remember their name, but there was a company that used to do like the low budget Miku concerts.
Mhm.
And like I said, they were at PMX a couple years. I think they were at a very old ALA, like when it was still at the Marriott, and a few other cons. Like, and they were around the country. I'm just pointing out the ones that were like here. And I remember Tiffany did some dancing for them because, like I said, they also had live dancers because their show was so jank. Uh, they had a band. They had a live band, live dancers, but they had a screen. Like they didn't have any 3D technology. They just brought up a big TV or sometimes even a big projection screen, like it's in like you know what I'm trying to say, like a white screen.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, but whenever they had a TV, it was literally the same thing that they're describing today, except smaller, obviously, because it was in a room. But I'm like, this jank ass, you know, and I don't want to call. I thought they were jank as fuck, but like they were trying their best, and they were like a licensed Miku group, officially licensed. But like this indie Miku group is doing the same thing that Krypton like is doing with like their big bucks. But then again, is Miku still like huge? And I mean that for real. Like,
I mean, based on like how many people still enjoy Vocaloid, like I imagine that because it's just grown over the years, and a lot of people have attached to it, like the same way people attach themselves to other fandoms, it does seem a little odd that they wouldn't be doing more effort, and especially if it's so popular that people will drop $200 for tickets during the tour, it does seem a little odd that they wouldn't do more. Like,
does
very
Miku
much so.
does Miku Expo even still have the Expo part? So I'm trying to look this up real fast. If Miku, it's the 10th anniversary too, by the way.
Mhm.
That's a shitty look. I didn't know that. Wait, so was 2014 the first one I went to? 'Cause I went that year too. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. But then again, and I know that these are somewhat different crowds, and I'm pretty sure, especially like you know, Yuji over there is not a fan of like of not Vocaloids of VTubers, but like I can't help but feel how many of these people, and I do think there is a bit of a Venn diagram where there's an inner circle, like you know, a crossing of the two fandoms, where I'm like, it's still better than seeing a VTuber live. And I mean that with all love to any VTubers I know out there who do live performances,
I'm
because
pretty
like
sure Mori will be coming for you super hard soon.
there's no well there are some that do like mocap type performances, like similar to a Miko thing, funny enough, but then
Mhm.
there are a lot who just look like us, and then they're singing, you know, as in like a bus. They're just sitting there like I'm sure you've seen the memes
Yeah,
where
I've
like
seen. Yeah.
where like it's a screen of somebody just like a bust like this, and then he like it's a guy. He moves his hair, and everyone like goes crazy, and it's all like, the fuck is wrong with you people? I've never felt.
It's called kayfabe, and
I've never been so. I've never felt so out of a fandom ever than like than seeing some of those memes.
yeah, don't ever come over to me and say that you're invested in wrestling. Then just don't ever do
I
that. Then.
love wrestling, by the way. I do like wrestling. I didn't put on the topic list, but let's not forget that Cody finished the story this weekend, well, last night, I guess, too. But like, Cody finished the story. No, you know, no more Roman. Well, I guess Roman Reigns is still there, but you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Like,
I don't
yeah,
know what you mean, Manuel. I don't follow wrestling.
What?
you need. I literally. Well, I guess you haven't been around like when. Wait, you were. They actually watched Money in the
You think
Bank.
I paid attention, Manuel?
We watched a couple. We watched several pay-per-views during cons.
Manuel.
Real
That's
quick,
crazy.
Athena for Joshi chiming in again. It seems like there's people who are going to all the U.S. states and so on. I mean, after my first time, it wasn't my cup of tea, even though I love Miku. I mean, there's
Exactly.
that.
Okay, I think they mean
She cosplayed
people
well.
going to different date or not people going to like every one of them, just that there are people going to everyone, not that the same person is going to everyone.
Mm.
Oh no, there are some people that will go that
Probably,
hard though.
probably following the band around on tour.
Following Miku.
Hmm.
I don't know why
It's
that just sounds funnier
it's
to
like
me. Because
I
Miku's
will
not real.
I will ask though, because that's the part that's a little like odd. It's like, yeah, she's not real, so I don't know where you as a groupie benefits from this situation necessarily.
I mean,
Um,
I get
but
the
like
fandom to a degree. It just
it's because I have what's it called? I have a friend who's like in Japan right now. I think she's following Julika. Let me look that up.
oh
It could
my
be.
god, I
Let
think
me
we're talking
be
about the
sure
same
if
friend.
I pronounced it right. I do
It's Julie
apologize.
G Luke. I don't know how to pronounce
Okay,
the name either, but it's the
okay.
VK group
Mhm.
G Luca. I think it's G Luca because like I've seen the katakana for it, and I think they performed at a con. I think they performed at Anime Boston last year. By the way, JD, you
Yeah,
didn't
you're
go see
right.
them though.
It's Gianluca, and so like I know for a fact that she's getting more out of this, like actually following them, because she's actually right now over there following the band and like doing taking the parasocial to like a whole new level. But like it's like I understand what she's getting more out of that situation. It's
I
like
think they're performing in LA during AX, but yeah, go on.
really.
Yeah. Well, they're not performing at AX, but they have like a standalone concert like around AX.
Yeah,
Yeah, they need to
I might
release
check
the
them out
LA
at that
date.
time. Especially because the outfit designs and all that are pretty dope. But
I think I
like,
have the same friend because I have a friend too,
it's
and we
Megu,
won.
isn't it? It's
Yeah,
Megu, isn't
I
it?
wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna. I mean, I didn't want to name her, but if you follow her online at all,
you
you'll see
do
her.
you think do you
I mean,
think
she calls it an obsession to her own to herself, so it's not like I'm calling her out. But yeah, she's a
no
huge
no
fan
no
of
I
Boogie.
don't mean to be calling her out. I mean like I'm pretty sure that like do you think that anything would go hard like oh so this one person was seen with one of the members like as of recent like I'm pretty sure that she understands but like do you think any tabloid person would go up and be kind of like so she was spending a lot of extra time with them and it was notable like she'll go onto the
Okay,
stream she goes onto his streams and
so
because she speaks Japanese they like conversate
so
and
funny thing, there's a whole topic for like the fandoms that exist, and I feel like the fandom that we're gonna talk about in a second doesn't
yeah
get as much I don't wanna say flack, doesn't get as much attention because like it's very similar to like the WOTA fandom, like for idols, but there's
yeah
a fandom for like these VK groups, and they're called uh ban bangals, bangyaru,
Mhm.
bangyas, and they're just like band girls and groupies. And I find it very interesting how gendered music is in Japan.
Mhm.
Like obviously there'll always be some crossing overs of like of fans, but
Yeah.
like I've been to many an idol, and especially in the U.S. In the U.S., it'll look like it'll be peppered of like people of all walks of life, but in Japan, if I've gone to VK concerts where I'm the only guy there,
Yeah.
and I've gone to idol concerts that have had no girls there. Like usually if I went with Tiffany or someone, they'd be the only girl, you know?
Mm.
But uh but yeah, I and to answer your question, I don't think I do think that Reggie's like very high up in the hierarchy of the Bangyas. Like I think she's one of those who kind of like well, I don't want to say bully, but she'll kind of like if somebody
Oh,
else was getting
oh
too close.
shit. Athena is on the nose. If she's been with Boogie, she's gonna get disappeared. Lol.
See,
The
see,
Bangyas in
that's what I was
Japan
gonna say.
don't play.
That's what I was gonna say next. It's like I would like to. I think that she thinks of herself like as that high level here in the U.S. But
She
if she does that in
thinks.
Japan,
Oh
I mean,
no.
she
She
is.
doesn't think. If you look at her
She's gonna
profile,
get
if you
into the
looked at
fight.
the legit interactions, she is probably making sure she is the pinnacle on that. Okay.
There are some because some of these fans in Japan and like you just mentioned in the chat, like especially the hardcore bangyas, they are very hardcore, and I mean like I wouldn't want to mess with them. I feel like they would stab me in an alley. Like I don't mean like
are we
it's
talking like
weird.
Jeffrey Dahmer, or are we
It's
talking
hard
the
to
Night
describe
Stalker?
because
Like,
these girls look very fashionable. They look small, but they also like they would cut you because I don't want to. I don't want to say like they're all like this, but a lot of them. I don't. Is there a nice way to say this? A lot of them, a good percentage of them, usually either work or have worked or have been involved in some way, like as a hostess or in that kind of industry.
oh,
So a lot
no. I know what story you're talking about.
So
The
a lot
most
of them,
fabled of all stories.
yeah.
The one,
Well,
it's not fabled
because in
anymore,
that industry, you kind of have to be kind of street smart. You have to be able to take care of yourself. I think it's that kind of thing where it's all like, I'm not talking about that. I know what you're talking about.
you know exactly what story I'm talking about. If we're talking about the ones who work in hosts, and like the last thing you want,
it's the same kind of fandom type person where it's like the girls who are the high up of the Bangyas, they're that kind of person where it's all like
they will literally. Are you saying that they will literally?
Yeah, they will stab me.
Wait, the stream has been what? What's up with the stream?
Oh, the stream like fucked up.
No.
Anyway,
the joke is that you guys keep saying, "Yeah, you know what I'm talking about," and I'm just here like,
oh
no, I don't.
Oh, okay, wait. Let me say.
Okay,
No, you don't have to tell me the story. I was joking more about the wrestling.
The real fast thing, the story we're hinting at, just because so like nobody could say that we didn't tell this is the one about the what is she called? Like they gave her a nickname, but like
she's a yandere girl.
Yeah,
She's a literally yandere girl.
She basically like stabbed a host many times, and like Google that, you like Google real life yonder and you'll find her, and there's the famous picture where she's covered in she's like in blood and she's smiling when she's getting arrested. The dude survived apparently.
That's not the picture though from that event that like I think caught the most fire. No, you're right. But the one that caught the most fire from the event was literally the she's like pretty much like sitting on the ground on her phone smoking a cigarette while his body is next to hers. You can only see his feet, but you can also see like blood next door.
Oh yeah, like, I forgot there was an actual picture like that.
Yeah.
She sounds hot. I don't know if you want to. It's funny because we're gonna start getting some territory that JD's gonna cut me out. But I'll say
man,
just I'll say this real fast. I used to have this friend who used to like talk about like how he's like, oh, that was his dream, and I'm like, I don't know if you know.
His dream was to have some crazy girl just dragging on a cigarette after being like, I love you, babe. Can't let you get that far though.
Yeah.
Stab.
Like he was legit like it was his dream to have somebody love him that much, and I'm like,
I hope that dude got therapy.
I hope he did too. It's like, please.
I think he's on. I think he's online too often, because I will say, as having a girlfriend that has told me before that I want to, what's it called, tear you open and live inside your flesh. I understand that this is a joke. It is a bit.
I was about to say, like, there's a difference when someone says something like that, because I think it's gonna sound funny. I think we've all said something stupidly similar to significant others at some point.
Yes, we all.
I haven't.
It's like, I'm gonna tear you open and just live in you like a tauntaun and Empire Strikes Back. I was like, I thought it smelled bad on the outside. That's the line from Empire Strikes Back, but it sounds even stupider when I say it about going inside someone.
Oh man, anyway. just like, because Delulu God's like, she sounds hot, and I'm like, no, bro, you don't understand. Like, the whole situation was so like bad. It was literally everyone saying stuff like, the crazy thing is, I think they're still together now. Like,
it's funny. It's funny because I remember seeing an update on it, and like, yeah, that's wild.
I think no. Here's the thing. It's one of those things where it's going to become a trauma issue, because like he lived. Thankfully, he lived. I think they're together. But genuinely, it's like one of those things where like kind of like, okay, so like, is he going to do something violent back to her? Is this just going to lead to a situation where she's like, make sure you never. I don't want any other girl going to your host to be trying to like spend money on you, and it's just kind of like, babe, you went into debt trying to like claim me and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll happily do it again, just make sure. And then later it's just kind of like, well, I guess I'm getting money, so it's sustaining our relationship in this sort of way. But I don't know, it's weird. And she's a host too, so
it's funny because like, that's the whole thing. That's actually what I was trying to get at with the whole like, VK fandom, because you get a very similar situation where a lot of times, and honestly, the line, and I'm not going to name anyone specific because I don't know anyone specific. But if you know where to look on certain parts of the internet, you will
Yeah.
find a lot of the VK members what host clubs they work at in their free time because a lot of them do that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure G Luca doesn't just because they're so big. Like I'm gonna assume that they don't, but a lot of VK groups either have or like still do, especially the super indie ones. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of crossover. But the Bangyas, a lot of the high up Bangyas, especially in Japan, they're gonna probably be hostesses as like and come from that scene, and they have to be a little tough, like just in general, because if a guy comes on too strong with them, like at their job, they're gonna. And security's there, but they're gonna have to handle their own shit sometimes. So they're
So
the kind
so
of people where
what?
like if I was at a concert and if I go to like grab Boogie, I'd be afraid that I would get stabbed afterwards.
Wait,
Okay.
if you were as Boogie, you're afraid as Boogie that you would be stabbed because
Yes,
you
because the
know.
bong guy would be upset. JD, you gotta look up Boogie later on and put a picture of him up here so you can see he
Yeah,
is a
put
snack.
Boogie up here.
He is a snack.
Put that guy up here.
He is a
But
good looking
okay,
guy. I don't know if I want to
so
get stabbed
then
for him though.
because here's the thing, she's not hesitant. I know some of her social media is privated, but like, or it's hard for me to tell which ones because like when you're friends, you
Oh,
forget
Meg?
what point.
She-
Yeah, Meg.
she okay, I can't stop laughing. On her Instagram, and I know this wasn't private because it was like on her
Yes.
story. She shared a story of when she was like messaging him, like DMing him, and he
Yes.
can't reply. And obviously he wouldn't reply. But like so she did post publicly ones where he wasn't replying, but he was emoji replying.
Okay.
And but it was just funny to watch because she made a story of all these screenshots of messages where she would
Yes.
put like books worth of like messages to him, and then he'd heart react or he'd laugh react or he'd like she'd say something funny, he'd laugh react. She'd say something like, "Oh, I missed you," and he'd heart react that. And it was like they were communicating through emoji, and I'd never seen that before.
Okay, let's pick something that's not going to get us in trouble, Manuel.
Why would this get us in trouble? This is more so us looking out on the speculative type of a way of making
It's for
sure that
promotion,
Megumi is
apparently.
okay.
Yeah, apparently, if you talk to Boogie, he'll talk back sometimes if he can through emojis. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing.
We had other topics.
Saying,
We've got like
we
20
don't
minutes,
want
Manuel.
any
You want to pick
Bangyas
something?
to go like after her
How
or
did we go
anything
this
like
long
that.
on this? G Luca,
Right?
I thought. Hold on, G Luca concert. Where were they at recently? But they're having a concert, or they're having a whole tour this year. But they're coming to the U.S. Everyone go see them live, and then go touch Boogie and see if Maggie stabs you.
I don't think that's what we have to worry about.
She won't stab you. I'm just kidding. We should interview them, and I'll just like give Boogie a hug. I doubt that'll happen.
Why don't you interview, but you have Megu be the interviewee?
Oh, it's funny you say that because I think it was Anime Boston or was it Boston? Or, no, it was AWA. But like we ended up not doing it because JD had to move back, and then like Daikon didn't go at all. So she was going to do the interview there because they were going to be there, and I was like, "Can you translate?" She's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay, well then I'm gonna make it happen." But then that whole AWA fell apart. That was the con they were at. I'm like, there was a con they were gonna be at, and I swore we were gonna have an interview, and it just didn't happen. What was it? AWA. Damn it, JD, why'd you have to move? Anyways, I know why.
I got fired, Manuel. I couldn't really control that. I'm sorry.
Anyway. Speaking of getting fired, I don't know why I had to say that. Miku's fired. Just cancel her from the tour. She's going to Coachella soon though, and I think the word on the street, just as a nice coda to all this, the word on the street is that Coachella Miku is going to have the 3D hologram, which is what's really upsetting everyone.
So they should have instead spent that $200 going to Coachella.
Well, Coachella is going to cost you way more than $200, but yes. Also, I think to be fair, I think Coachella is going to provide the hologram machine because, like, didn't they have like Tupac and like other people? I don't know who else has been in the hologram, but like,
I think they're the ones who've done the hologram performers before.
Yeah, so I think that's probably just the Coachella thing. I think they have like Golden Voice. I think put that on. They probably just have access to like the high end fucking hologram machines that Miku needs. So yeah. Anyways, I can't stop. I can't believe we got into a whole thing about Julika and like the fucking Bangyas and getting stabbed and
I
Good
kind of
times, good
want to. I
times.
kind of want to make this an episodic thing, just because like I'm following it. I was actually talking with some friends because we were all trying to speculate, like, what if there's
Are
like,
we gonna like follow Megumi's tour in Japan and see if she's gonna? Did she stab anyone yet? Has she gotten stabbed?
I don't think she would do anything where like she would come under the law necessarily. I just thought it was funny because she was like, yeah, I'm going all out. I'm going to the tour over
I
there,
also
and
want
it's,
to I want to clarify before we go any further, especially for JD's sake, so it doesn't cut all this out.
yeah,
For those who don't know, Megumi's a good friend of mine. She actually was a very early member of A to J. We've done many
really,
panels together. Yeah, we've done
I didn't
many
know that.
panels together. She's done interviews for us in the past. Um, so it's not like I'm just bad mouthing someone.
Picking on a random person. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
We're bad mouthing. I didn't
No,
think we
we're
were
not
bad
bad
mouthing.
mouthing. We're not bad mouthing, but I don't want to say like we're spilling tea. That's the better way to phrase
Okay,
it.
Manuel, we've got like 15 minutes. Do you want to?
So Megan, we didn't even talk about the 99-cent store closing.
Yeah, that's what
She
I've been
updated her
trying for the
picture a
last
day
10
ago,
minutes
and
to
it's
get you to
literally
talk about
her
anything else,
closing.
Manuel.
The 99-cent store's closing, and I'm kind of sad, but I'm also not. Um, I, I'm sad about what it represents. How like cheap life has disappeared. Um, because I love living cheap. I do like buying their potatoes there, because like they sell really cheap potatoes. Like I think for like $1.50 for like a little bag. That's even cheaper than the market. But honestly, 99-cent store has gotten pretty expensive lately. Um, but it always I just think it's weird they're all closing down. And the whole
It
shtick
is.
of it, the whole shtick of it is that the current Miku is a 99-cent store Miku. So yeah, this is why she got funded by them, and yeah, supposedly I don't know if it's gonna happen. Pick and Save, which is a brand that I didn't know still existed.
Yeah, I thought it was
is
just Big
going-
Lots now.
Exactly. Thank you. Because I was like, aren't they Big Lots? And I think Big Lots has its own troubles, behind the scenes right now. But apparently, Pick and Save is trying to buy all the SoCal like brands, or like maybe just take over their leases or whatever.
Mm.
And I hope that happens, just because I like buying candy and like potatoes. I sound like a horrible person. Like, what kind of meal is that? But yeah. I like
It's
buying
the type of
candy.
situation that so many Mexican grandmas are about to be real sad. That's who.
Apparently, like a lot of 99-cent stores sell alcohol. Because I remember seeing all these memes about like Mexican people buying all the Modelos and shit like that.
Well, I got
But
I went there and I got Hello Kitty. What's it called? Wine.
mine has none of my local ones have ever had that.
Yeah, ours
And
has
that's
a shit ton of them. Though, at least the one that's closer to my house, they have a shit ton of the wine.
99-cent produce is elite. Yeah, I like their produce. They also have asparagus pretty cheap a lot of times, and like honestly, their produce is usually cheaper than a market, and it's way less stressful than going to a market. I hate. I don't know how
back.
people. Okay, I don't know how many people have the same market experience, but like all my local markets, especially the Kroger ones, have the people trying to sell you internet packages in the produce sections. And I hate going through the produce sections. And like the thing that bothers me the most, and I get it, I've worked stupid jobs before, where you have to talk to everyone, so I get it. But I'm like, it's the same people in my same stores, and I don't think I'm a pretty easy person to forget, like especially when you see me like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would ever forget someone as old as you, Manuel.
Yeah. So, anyways, my point is, it's like, how many times do I have to tell the same person? Like, how many times do I ignore the same person? At this point, I'm just ignoring them. And I'm like, please, I'm not going to sign up for your fucking whatever spectrum, whatever the fuck you're offering.
But then you might have competent internet, Manuel.
I don't. Okay, that's actually a good one. But I don't understand. Clearly, it works. There's no way they spend this much money.
Oh
if
my
it
gosh!
doesn't.
I don't know what I'm interrupting.
Who the fuck gets the internet from the produce section of the local market? What were you gonna say?
Oh, I said I don't know what I'm interrupting, but I find it hilarious how my parents are watching the original Omen right now.
The original Omen.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Check it.
Oh, he has the Hello Kitty stuff. See, mine never had that.
Yeah, no,
If any-
I'm gonna go
I'm
back
pretty
every
sure-
now and then to see how much cheaper it gets each day.
Yeah, I went the other day and it was still like most of the stuff was 10% off, but their pricing was fucked, and I mean it a good way, because nothing before used to be 99 cents. It was always $1.29 or whatever. but they seem to have reverted to 99 cents and then took 10% off. And I wish they would have clarified that, because it wasn't until I got to the register that I realized everything was far less than I thought it was, in a good way. And I was like, ah, shit. And the line was too long. I'm like, I'm not going back. I'll just wait till it gets lower percentage.
Yeah, I will agree there with well, first two things. They always have a lot of random DVDs there. Like I find it cool they got Bleach DVDs there. The Walmart is going so insane right now. I don't understand how they feel like they can just keep doing this. They're just kind of like, yeah, we're the vendor that like sells stuff at the least next to like maybe a Dollar Tree, but why the F would you be going to a Dollar Tree? Rather just go to a Dollar General
Dude.
at that point.
Yeah,
And
no,
instead
Dollar Tree's annoying because Dollar Tree, my local one only did it recently, but all of them are just like Dollar General, Family Dollar type things at this point, because they are no longer like everything costs like $5 or $7. It's like, what?
yeah.
Like, what is your branding anymore at this point?
Clearly false advertising. That's what it is.
It's like I put them in the same cabinet. I even put this in the notes. I guess 99 cent stores out of it now because they don't exist, but like they were in there too. But now it's Dollar Tree, Daiso, and McDonald's are the three brands I feel that are like they're trying to go through a rebrand that I don't think they deserve.
Well, like again, McDonald's was known for like, hey, I'm gonna get some cheap fast food. It's like okay for like the pricing, but to think that they're honestly gonna get to a point where like you can go to like the Habit Burger and probably get more for your money if you're spending around the same anyway.
No, the fucking like it's funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, use the app. The app's cheaper," and I do use the app, so I
Oh,
do agree to a degree, huh?
no, that's some BS right there. I'm not saying that the app is not cheaper. I'm saying that to literally get close to pricing that you used to get, you need to use the app. And the other part is that they like hard restrict you to using more than one particular special
Exactly.
per meal. So you really should be using two phones separately if you want to get stuff for each other. Except you'll get destroyed by taxes at that point also because it's like double on the charge. But it's really like cray how you have to do extra to spend less at places. Same thing with to call Little Caesars. Like to get certain things at Little Caesars at like remotely what it kinda used to be, you need the app. They are now charging like the better part of $12 for a hot and ready.
Dude,
Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
the the standard hot and ready at my local place, I think is 8 something, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you
Yeah.
fucking serious? Like, and the thing that annoys me is that I don't really mind paying that much money sometimes. I really don't, or even paying more. What I'm trying to say, but this usually happens only after they've already shrinkflated to all fucking hell. Because I
Mhm.
remember when Little Caesars was slightly better. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was never good quality, but it was slightly better quality than this. And I'm like, so you lower the quality and raise the price anyway. Like at least like
At least do more. And it's just kind of like they even fucked up their most bestest because I swear, like after a while, I was like, are they even actually putting more
no,
pepperoni on it?
it's funny. It's funny you say that because like I've had employees like tell me straight up like later on because I'm like, is this even a bestest one? Because like it's supposed to have I forget like how much percent more VAT and cheese, and I'm like really? And then I had another employee told me later on, it's like, yeah, don't bother with that. Like we just make one pizza and we'll just keep giving, we'll just give you whatever. And don't get me wrong, that could change through franchises. And that's another argument because they do that a lot. But at the end of the day, the way franchises work is that the more money they make I mean, they make more money by cutting corners. So they're gonna cut corners. Um, so I always find that funny when they mention like, oh, I have very rarely have worked, and I've worked for Subway. Subway has a lot of people like Subway is only franchises, and I've worked with some bosses that are better or worse, but all of them were like corner cutters. Every single one of them.
I like
Um,
how here it's McDonald's is trying to be more high class, low, as well as Little Caesars up the quality when they switch from corn oil to olive oil.
is it real olive oil? I doubt that. I will say though, like I still prefer Little Caesars just sometimes, but like the prices are honestly the price is just ridiculous in
You want
general.
better pizza for the price? Just buy yourself pizza at what's it called? 7-Eleven.
I agree. 7-Eleven still, watch 7-Eleven go up crazy too. The funny thing is, and a lot of people are like, oh, the prices go up for everything. But I'm sure we've all seen the stories. It feels disingenuous when companies are all like, "Oh God, everything's expensive for us too, guys. It really is."
Oh no, that's some
But then
bullshit
their
right
profits
there.
are like they always make record-breaking profits year after year after year.
Mhm.
And like
How are they doing? Where is this coming from?
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day because we were talking about like about just the profit things and whatever. And because I was talking to him, I was specifically talking to him about the Eddie Burback video, which I mentioned briefly the other day, because like he did one on the Apple Pro thingy. And he had this good thing at the end about like how once a company goes public, they're always chasing the next quarter's profits.
Hmm.
And like I've said this before, it's like there are times when it's like you've reached capacity. Like there has to be a point when you realize, hey, we're probably not going to make any extra money, but we're going to be fine. Everyone's going to get paid. Everyone's going to like, there might even be a little left over for some people
Um,
here and there.
there was
But you can't just chase profits indefinitely. It's unfeasible.
there's this little it's actually the whole episode for Boondocks skit. And what happens is there's this really right wing security guard, and for some reason, the building that he's at that has no one in it for some reason is going to be bombed. Okay, and
Hmm.
the whole mystery is like, why do they want to bomb this one place with this like potentially like racist character and everything? And so because like the people who are blowing it up are not like people that would be like super leftists or something. And
Hmm.
so what they're discovering is they find a warehouse full of stuff that's like memorabilia, but it's of this guy and autobiographies and everything. And so after they save him before the building he's in blows up with him in it, they discover that there were actually some people that were hyping him up that were not necessarily Republican, but they were corporate, so more than likely Republican. And so they stormed this guy's house. They're like, "Okay, what was this all about?" And it says, "Oh, that security guide over there is a racist piece of shit mouthpiece that we have." And we thought we'd do security, and not security, we thought we'd do society a super positive while also profiting by selling merch of him that everybody would like, a bunch of stuff. He talks to the corporate leftist power, and all he had to do was die. And then later the police are just looking at this old rich guy, and they're like, but don't you make enough money? To which he just says, no.
No one ever makes enough money, and that's just ridiculous. Greed, like it's the literal definition of greed, but it's like, at what point is enough enough?
Dude, there are
Have
literally
you
a
ever?
bunch. But no, you say your thing first.
Oh no, I was gonna say because like I find it funny that like a lot of times when they're reporting like quarterly profits or end of year profits, have you ever
Yeah.
heard the phrase "profits are down"? And
Yes.
that's the most bullshit phrase ever
Yes.
because that doesn't mean that they're even losing money. Usually they're still making money. They're still
Hmm.
making billions or millions or whatever the fuck frame of reference you need for that number. Like they're still making a ton of money, but they're just down. And sometimes not even down because the way inflation is always happening, even like when it's not going rampant like today. But
Yeah.
so you could make the same money as you made last year, but it's worth less. So that's what they mean. Profits are down. And I'm like, so no fucking cares.
It's like when
Don't buy
you
your
are
yacht this
making
year.
astronomical money. It's technically like, does that even actually matter? It's like if your profits were down, what would that matter? It's like if McDonald's profits were down, it would not change its stranglehold on the planet, as well as like personally, I don't know how Burger King's still even around, but like I really doubt that everything would like come to an end. It's more so just the pressure that they feed over to franchisee owners, since they know that it's technically like they're just feeding to the main vessel upward, and they try to make everything seem like, well, we got to find cheaper products because we can't get the same products before due to supply chain. It's like, cool, so that means that shit's going to be less expensive then, right?
No.
Well, about that, and then it's like, well, now we have to raise the prices on the wages on our workers, because we just can't sustain that. And it's just kind of like, but you told us that during the pandemic, and you raise people's wages because you needed them to be working because you said that
Funny thing
nobody
is,
wants to work anymore. Like, what the fuck?
the funny thing is about raising wages is that obviously the most recent one is pretty sizable, like from like whatever the fuck it was before to $20 for fast food
Yeah.
employees.
Mhm.
But what people don't seem to understand is that that money gets broken down a lot smaller than you think it does, because most of these places will have, a handful of employees. If you pay everyone $2 more, for example,
Yeah.
this is for a small number, a more standard raise, $2 more across maybe 40 employees. If you're a giant company, that's $80 more an hour. You might be like, oh, that's $80. That doesn't translate to raising everything on the menu by $1. Because have you seen
Exactly.
some of the volumes that these people work? That more realistically, and it's a very mathy thing that I'm gonna fuck up, but it's a more realistically raising things by like a tiny percent. First of all, it's if anything, because you're already making money, but like, but it's raising things by like a small percent, not actually knocking things up like crazy.
No, it's
And it
just
just,
being done just because they can. It's simply like,
yes.
oh, I have an excuse that allows me to do this. This is why, guys, this is why wages just shouldn't raise, because it's gonna go up. And then like, I'm just like, okay, the wages barely rose. So why, if corners are being cut, if food quality is not the same as it was before, if recipes are changed for the sake of saving out on cash, why have the prices still been going up? They're going up regardless. Or even in the most pain picture of situations, why are those prices going up? And then it's just genuinely because of that corporate greed. Like,
My favorite, my,
like,
my
come on.
favorite thing is that ever since the McDonald's thing has blown up, and fun fact, I don't know if people talk about this. They're talking about the $18 Big Mac meal. That wasn't in California or like Boston or New York or somewhere like big city. That was like somewhere in Nebraska, I think, or Ohio, somewhere Midwest, somewhere like that people don't
Just so that
live.
they could. It'll look good on a headline if they spent like $18 on their
But
large
it's
McDonald's
what
meal.
it's wild that like that like like it's not that bad here. But I love that because of that, there've been a lot more memes showing old menus, because I've talked about that many a time in the past. And every so often when I tell people, and it's like, I'm not that much older than you. Did you forget? Because like I was an adult when I was already an adult when like McDonald's still had an actual dollar menu. Like this wasn't like in 19 dickety 2 when like after the Great War, and everyone was like still walking around barefoot and I got my dollar double cheeseburger. No,
How
this
old
was
are
like,
you?
huh?
Okay,
Not
how old is
that
the universe right now? At about
big.
5.
Okay. But no, like I was at I think I was at Party City. I was at Party City when I was still able to go to a McDonald's and get the double cheeseburger, not the McDouble, for $1. And
I
I
like how
think that, yeah, that burger has literally gone up, like, I think in 4 or 5 times its price. And I don't care how you economics that, that makes no sense. That makes
uh,
no sense at all.
billionaires shouldn't exist. Essential workers never got essential pay. Lol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. They always find a way to bosses to get raises, but complain about the minimum wage going up, as they don't know the minimum wage was going up for the past 10 years. European McDonald's pay more and still have reasonable Big Mac pricing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And like there's a recent TikTok trend, and I know this is kind of jumping to a slightly different topic, but it's another topic that I've talked about before, like how tipping culture has kind of gotten a little crazy.
Mhm.
And there's a recent TikTok trend where people are like, "How much I really make," and it's like servers who are posting like their W's, like not their, as in like they're literally their W's, like as in like I made $500 today, and I
Mhm.
won't name names, but I have certain good friends of mine who literally talk about making like $50+ an hour, like serving, and how they would never like keep that job if they had to get reduced to like even like $20 or $30 an hour. And I know that's kind of slightly on a different topic, but it's also like money is weird these days.
Mhm.
What is money? Why is everything so expensive?
It's
Why can't
exchange for goods and services.
Okay.
I want to TLDR? What I was getting at, I want to go back and work at Subway now. That's not even a joke. I know it's tough work, but I know it relatively okay still. I'm sure they changed everything.
Okay, Manuel. Let's wrap it up.
No, I'm going to work at Subway, guys. Come
Oh.
visit me later.
No, wrap up my sandwich, Manuel. I ordered the turkey club
Oh.
20 minutes ago and you're still not done with it.
Fun fact about that. It actually annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know if I ever done this to you. Whenever people eat a sandwich and they wrap it themselves, like as in like they eat it and they have half left over, so they wrap it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it's my big pet peeve when they just do this. They just like ball it back up. Like, no, give me this. And I open it and I Subway wrap it basically and like tightly wrap it. And I'm like, why does nobody do that to their leftover sandwiches? Why do you make this big mess of paper?
Because I don't know how to do it, Manuel, and I have fat fingers.
I hate everyone. I hate everyone. That's actually a really big pet peeve of mine. And it happens more often than you would think. I feel like I've done it to JD, but I've done it to a lot of people in con rooms. Like if they come with a sandwich and they eat some of it, they leave it there. Like no, you're wrapping that right.
And that's why I don't eat sandwiches in the hotel room.
Yeah, like I will throw that away if you don't wrap that correctly. anyways, yeah, we wrap it up. An eclipse happened. That was all we had to say. There's nothing important about the eclipse. I mean, I kind of get people like, oh, once in a lifetime, but it's like, it's the moon and the sun aligning. Is it like? I didn't see the draw, and don't look at it. People are stupid. Like there was this clip of like this newscaster in like Ohio or somewhere like where it was actually like a full eclipse, and like he started crying during it. And I'm not bragging on that. Like it's whatever if you're gonna get emotional during that moment. But then he's all like, then he takes off his glasses and he's all like, I want to look at it straight on. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna go blind. Like even though that there's like a little sun sliver like on the edges, that's enough to burn your retinas.
And it's apparently especially worse because your eyes will dilate because it thinks there's not much light, but there's a whole bunch of UV now just spitting down at you.
Exactly. So I'm like, and that guy, I almost hit my eye on that. That would have been a good piece of karma there, dragging on this guy. But that guy's probably blind now. I want to follow up on that TikTok I saw.
I got the what's it called? Eclipse shake, and they actually did give you like some glasses to go along with it if you got it from Sonic. So I was thankfully able to avoid my eyes from, like dilating.
It's funny because you just want to sneak in the freezer and eat the meatballs. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I talked about working at Subway. We used to get like, it changes on store obviously because it's by owner, but most of the time it was always like a sandwich and 2 cookies. I had an owner who was cool. As long as you rung everything up, you could just eat what you wanted within reason, of course.
Nice.
But I used to always get the 2 cookies and ring them up, and I wouldn't take the cookies we baked. I would go to the freezer and just eat the dough. I would just get like a white chip cookie and a chocolate chip cookie and just like sit down and eat them like, with my food, like raw. Well, like it's actually really good. I don't know if that makes me a freak, but yes.
Manuel, there are so many things that make you a freak that's probably the bottom of the list.
But yeah, I would go and eat stuff in the freezer. I would do that again if I could. And there were a couple times when like a whole box of the cookies would go bad. Not go bad, because it's frozen, but like it would have dates. And it's funny because like most of the time, even in my shitty Subways I worked at, we still followed dates and shit like that. Well, there was a few things we were shifty on, but we were mostly good. But like if something went out of date, it's like, oh, we're gonna throw it away. We damage it out. Like, hey, a whole box of cookies for Manuel to eat raw. But anyways, retinas, the skill issues. Subway cookies are elite. I love Subway cookies.
Okay, what are we doing this week, Manuel?
Tomorrow, more Breath of Fire. We're gonna finally beat those Horse Brothers. So if you want to like, we're finally gonna get to the Masters. The whole beginning of the game is one long like Final Fantasy 13-esque straight hallway. And we're finally going to get past that. And then on Friday is Drink Talk Roll, and the next Tuesday is more UPC. And that's it.
Josh, you got anything you'd like to plug?
Just chime in every now and then to my streams. I am playing Persona 3 right now. Was going to be playing some Pokemon, but then that didn't work out the way I would have liked. So currently it is Persona with the on and off horror game that I may have.
Yeah, I think I saw you playing Persona last night. I forgot what. I put it on, then I accidentally fell asleep. But yeah, I put it on.
It's okay. You watched me play until I was starting to fall asleep, so it's all good.
Well, I had eaten right before, and then I was just like, I'm gonna watch it. I wake up and the stream was over. I'm like, oh shit.
It's all good. It's all good.
But anyway. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Everyone, go watch, go send us your Miku, your Miku horror stories and your Subway horror stories, and also wrap your fucking sandwiches right. And if, for the love of God, if you order a meatball sandwich, do not put anything on it besides the meatballs and the cheese. You fucking freaks. Do not put lettuce and mayo on there. You are weird. I guess you could put tomatoes or like bell peppers. That's fine.
What about
But do
onions?
not.
Spinach
Like onions are fine too, but do
and
not
cucumbers.
put green things and do not put any other sauces. You guys are fucking weird. Don't. I'm sorry. I hate you guys. Anyways, thank you. Good night.
Good night,
Peace out.
everybody.
Good night.